and disaster reduction. Peter, thank you so much for your time. What does disaster management tell us about the current situation in terms of, are you even surprised at how much damage there has been caused by these two quakes?
Well, let me first of all, express my solidarity with the people of Türkiye in this terrible time. Yes, I mean the damage really is quite extraordinary. I mean, we've seen images and pictures of what appear to be, ordinary, multi-story buildings just collapse, and that really is quite a surprise that there should be so much damage in modern structures like that.
So in terms of disaster management now, after the event itself, I mean, we can clearly talk about how to reduce damage before an event like this. Now, people can possibly be educated better to deal when something like this happens. But now we're post the event. What needs to happen?
Well, I mean, immediately, I mean, obviously the intensification of the rescue effort, as I've heard before, there's a window which is closing for rescuing people. I mean, even uninjured people, 50% will die after sort of 5 days. Those are with these low temperatures, as where this 3 days come from. So clearly, intensification of the rescue effort to really try and pull as many people out as safely as possible is obviously the urgent task at the moment.
And that's obviously difficult because of the weather conditions and because of the possibilities of aftershocks. That second earthquake, people were saying it was an aftershock, and then it was reclassified as another standalone earthquake just a few hours after the original one. That the weather is going to be problematic, presumably.
Yes, I mean, and aftershocks will continue. I mean, their magnitude will decrease with time. But I mean, just looking at a very recent updated map, there's still quite substantial magnitude aftershocks, and of course these are affecting already weakened buildings from the previous main shocks.
And you also look at how to mitigate before disasters happen and how to reduce the severity of the damage that is caused. What are the best practices in explaining to people how they need to behave in preparation for such an event?
So, I mean, such a disaster, I mean, is beyond most people's experience. So it really is a question of learning from elsewhere. I mean, there's the example of the Izmit earthquake just 20 years ago. So I think it's very important to transfer those lessons. I mean, Turkey has been updating its building codes, and there's advanced engineering. I think the real issue is making sure that is implemented, throughout Turkey. Türkiye. I think there's been probably a focus on the Western Anatolian fault and what might happen to Istanbul, but most of Türkiye is highly seismically active, and these lessons need to be applied throughout the whole country.
The government has been doing a lot, as you say, it's building codes certainly over the past 20 years or so. And I understand what it's also trying to do is to just make sure that urbanization doesn't proceed as quickly as it has been. In other words, if you have too much of a concentration of people in one area, obviously an earthquake is going to have a different effect if you do some sort of urban planning which encourages people to live in different parts of the country, maybe even create new metropolitan centres, which the government has been focusing on as well.
Yes, I think zoning is important. I mean, looking at some of the collapsed buildings and some of the sort of the damaged maps, it's clear that that some sort of areas are really prone to liquefaction of the soil, and buildings have been undermined geotechnically rather than structurally. So I think being very careful about choosing land to develop on is important. Of course, that's very difficult. It's difficult worldwide with growing pressures of urbanization.
Peter, thank you very much indeed for sharing your expertise. Really appreciate it. Peter Sammonds from University College London.
My pleasure.